My name is Roshni Riar. My pronouns are she, her, and I am a Punjabi poet and an interdisciplinary artist and a yoga facilitator. The focus of my work really is promoting cultural understanding and accessibility and making space for marginalized folks. As a South Asian person, my relationship to yoga, I've realized, has been completely influenced by the Western presentation of yoga. And so that is something I never questioned until recently when I started thinking about the fact that this is a spiritual and an ancestral practice that comes from my ancestral homelands, and yet I only understand it to be exercise, essentially. And that is when I really started questioning the impact of what has been appropriated. And if I understand it to be this way, how do other people understand it to be this way? And so for me, I look at yoga as something that it's not just something that you do, it's something that you can be and something that you can live, but it's not understood to be that. And so for me, going to yoga studios, I don't feel comfortable because it's primarily white teachers, mainly white folks in the classes. And there's an aesthetic and a feeling of detachment that I think is kind of encouraged. Appropriation is pushing South Asian people out of a practice that comes from their homeland. And the resources are so sparse. You know, a lot of the teacher trainings are created and promoted by people that are either white or not South Asian. It's hard to find the proper resources, the proper trainings to help you identify where it all comes from and what there is beyond the physicality. A key part of reclamation is taking that space back. So creating spaces that are by and for South Asian folks, creating spaces that touch on other elements of yoga beyond the physicality, and creating community. Reclamation also involves questioning the status quo and carving out a space to safely and comfortably ask those questions. Yoga as a practice, it's a practice that aims towards liberation. And so if you can't be your true self and you can't speak your truth, then you're not moving towards that endpoint. Since starting these South Asian gatherings that I've been doing for folks in the community, there are so many people that just want to learn and also want to teach their experiences. Folks that grew up with yoga, some folks who didn't and learned different streams of yoga. And so opening up space to be able to just communicate and learn and chat and not feel like when you come into this space because you have a question that's wrong or that you're not South Asian enough or that, you're uninformed for asking, well, where did it come from? Yoga, the root word, yuj is to yoke, to unite. When community comes together, there's such a powerful and beautiful opportunity for knowledge exchange. Bringing South Asian folks together in these circles, in these sanghas, we get to learn from each other's experiences, contexts, the backgrounds and the trainings that we've had. You don't have to have a teacher training. This is like a concept that's sort of been introduced to make you feel like almost you can't talk about or practice or teach yoga without this certification. And so honoring knowledge as valid, no matter where that comes from. In the gatherings that I put together, 50% of the time that we're together, we're just talking, or I'm sharing some concepts about different limbs of yoga. I'm sharing history. I'm sharing practices that could go beyond being on your mat that you can take in your day-to-day to push against that idea of, I haven't stepped on my mat in 2 weeks. I haven't done yoga in 2 weeks. You may be doing yoga right now. You know, what we're doing right now is yoga. We're coming together in community.
My name is Joanna Yang, and I'm the registered doctor of traditional Chinese medicine in BC. I've been practicing traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture, in Vancouver more than 30 years. I'm teaching in Kuala Lumpur University Traditional Chinese Medicine Acupuncture Program. My own time, I practice in my private practice in TCM, Vancouver. Traditional Chinese medicine, so it's been practiced over 2,000 years. It's very efficient. It's how people getting better. This medicine is relatively new in the Western world, Western medicine. Everyone understands. People get sick, we go to the family doctor, we go to lab test or examination, we get a standard protocol. Something can be measurable, can be seen, and then have a standard diagnosis, and then have a standard treatment, pharmaceutical drug. So everyone familiar with this kind of medicine practice. So now let's talk about the Chinese medicine. The foundation is different from the biomedical conventional medicine. Its foundation, as we say, is based on the energy, which we're talking about the qi. There are two different kind of energy. It's a yin energy or yang energy. This kind of energy running through the body, harmonized daily, running the body. For some reason, this kind of energy go off the harmonized or imbalance, then people get sick. So this is a key foundation about traditional Chinese medicine. The people coming, they know acupuncture is very efficient, but they always ask, how do you measure this qi? How do you can detect this qi, this energy? Use Western educate mind to see the traditional medicine. This is a little bit challenge. We basically pursue the balance. When the energy imbalance, the teaching diagnosis doesn't use any equipment or any lab test. They just based on the conversation, interview the patient, check the patient's tongue information, take the patient's pulses information, then a well-trained TCM practitioner will understand that condition will belong to what kind of pattern. As soon as the pattern being identified, they will have a solution. Then it's a misconception, say, oh, if you don't provide scientific evidence, then I'm not going to receive this treatment or whatever. All those research is outside, overseas. Canadian-based research still need to be carried on in the future. For general public, need to be open-minded. This way you see it's a spot. Other way you see it's a line. So TCM just from different angle to see human health. The purpose is the same as Western biomedical medicine, is try to help the people. Traditional Chinese medicine, the herbal medicine, it doesn't go with only one thing. There's a few different herbs mixed together. There is a meaning behind choose which herb, at least 4 to 10 different herb combination we call formula or prescription. There is a theory behind all this herb is that property belong to yin energy. This one is belong to yang energy, and this one is a plant energy. This one is too hot. This one is too cold. We're talking about this kind of language, and then mix together to balance to particular address individuals' condition. Like everyone may get depression. Okay, go to family doctor. Everyone prescribe antidepressant, the same thing. It doesn't ask you have you feel cold, you feel hot, do you sweating, how is it sleeping, what is your appetite, what is the bowel movement, etc. Don't ask this question. Go to me, I need to ask all those questions. Understand you belong to depression in this pattern, other one belong to this pattern. The herbal treatment is different. You may say, why the same disease, why you treat different? We diagnose it based on the pattern. The purpose is from the off balance, try to get put to the central harmonize then problem being addressed. So that's why if you say, oh, dangui is good for female, ginseng is for good energy, that's a very superficial understanding. The ideal model will be integrated. You have this condition, visit Western medical system. You have this condition, you can visit this traditional medicine. All the purpose is help people getting better. That's it. This is the future.
My name is Olivia Cheung. I call myself a tea person. People call me tea master, and at Treasure Green Tea Company. I've been here since I took over the business since '02, but our business has been around since 1981. Tea ceremonies are able to immerse your mind into the whole process of it. For me, if I taste a very good cup of tea in the morning and that smile just comes in very naturally. You need to be that relaxed to taste tea. You really be that relaxed to make a good cup of tea. And it's very rewarding. Part of my enjoyment in the morning, or keeping myself calm, is having a good cup of tea. But everybody wake up with some rough morning sometimes, and I'm no different. So sometimes when I make my morning tea, it just doesn't taste right. So I would, just like in life, we reset and we redo again. There are parts in the morning that is very helpful to have my day go right, or create that sense of serenity in the morning. I love watching steam, so I would, before I even decide what to drink, I have my kettle on, I just keep looking at the steam. I like the movement of water. I find it very calming. And then of course, tea it awakes all my senses. And it gives me a lot more power to think how my day is gonna unfold. I find tea really has a language on its own. Back then when my parents opened a business in the 80s, my parents did not speak English, but they were able to sell tea. What I like to do is I guide people how to enjoy tea, and besides enjoying the flavor of the tea, what makes it a healthy drink for you. Tea can be a very healthy drink if you drink it correctly. In the spring, in the summer, as well as in the winter, our body change, so we would drink different tea to complement that. Same as Chinese healthy eating is based on what's in season. Why have an apple when mango's in season? Offering a cup of tea to come in is to welcome. When I first took over the business, I would offer people, this is our practice here, that we offer people a cup of tea. That's when I also learned the cultural difference as well. So when I offer people a cup of tea, I feel that people oblige into taking that cup of tea to be accepting my welcome. But in Western world, it's sometimes very different. People will say, oh, I'm good. And I feel, huh? You don't want to accept my welcome? And I thought that is so rude. At first, I really felt that way. And then I could kind of understand, I kind of learned, a no, perhaps it's a no. It's just simply no, but it is no reason attached to it. Tea ceremony, there are many different types. Some can require a lot of gesture, like there's royal, there's spiritual, there's social, or you do it just merely for mindfulness. I think the most misconception with the tea ceremony would be what people call Kung Fu Cha. Kung Fu Cha is a very specific way of making tea. It originated from Guangdong, China. I respect that kind of brewing a lot. It requires a little bit more instruments, more tools. What's so fascinating about it is a lot stronger taste in tea, and they use smaller tools because the idea is they really jam-pack lots of leaves in the pot, and then they have the person who makes the tea is so skillfully that they can tell you what you're going to taste in this brew. The ratio of tea is one of the very important of making a good cup of tea. They use very good tea as well, so one of the ideas, they make it so strong that it really celebrates your palates, and you feel very hydrated through the day, even if you drink it in this very small cup. Kung Fu style is not tea ceremony. Tea ceremony is based on what you are doing for your guests. Are you doing socially? Are you doing for more royal, like a wedding? You're doing for spiritual, so it's very zen, very calm. You just very immerse yourself into tea. I know tea ceremony is also used in rehab. You will really dive into what you're making, what you're tasting. There might not be any guests with you. Those are very powerful ceremony, but it's not Kung Fu Cha. Tea in supermarket is just convenient. Often you will not be able to buy the best seasonal tea because a lot of tea requires proper storage. For example, newly harvested green tea, we put in the freezer. So we promote more consistent cold temperature. The nutrient, the fragrance, which comes from the oil, retain properly. But if you purchase in the supermarket, where it's the fluctuation of temperature, it goes through warm and cold, so the leaf would lose a lot of its oil. As a result, the tea people purchase would become a little bit more dull in color, and the fragrance and the flavor will decrease or even gone in some cases. I don't want to lose my heritage or the tradition of how my father built the business. I really want people to also understand that tea is not only a drink when you're sick, but it's actually a social drink. We do a lot of gathering. We connect with people. We do business over a cup of tea. A bride serves the in-laws cup of tea. Accepting that cup of tea, meaning accepting this person into the family. One would offer a cup of tea to offer apology. There's so many stories for each tea type. How did the name come from? What are they all about? What's the history behind it? The commodity itself is so rich in history. It's no different from people spend lots of money in buying a good bottle of wine. Tea can offer the same. It gives you just so much enjoyment.